So far we have discussed about the molecular or Schrodinger equation, which looks like this. Okay. Now we have talked that this parenthesis or first bracket have some significance. What is the significance? Because whatever the you are observing in the inside the first bracket, these are only dependent quantity of this operator. Now if I talk about this kinetic energy term, electronic kinetic energy, then it is absolutely affect the electronic wave function, because if we go to the T, then one can notice that all the differential term consisting the coordinates for electron only. So it will affect only the electrons. Similarly, when we are talking about the electron-electron repulsion term, that will also affect the electronic wave function only. And when you are talking about a electron nuclear repulsion term, that also uh, affect the electronic wave function. Okay, so we have made those brackets, and inside these brackets that it signifies this potential energy operator or kinetic energy operator that will affect this kind of things. One can make this and this. Okay, that is the case. So we have to evaluate this first term actually, how it is, how Tn, that is the kinetic energy operator for nucleus or nuclei, affect these two wave functions. So if you operate both the wave function on these two, if you operate this Tn on both the wave function, they will operate on onto this electronic wave function as well as nuclear wave function, because if you noticed the Tn, then it contains the nuclear coordinates. Okay, differential terms which involve nuclear coordinates. Again, we know that my my electronic wave function also contain and the nuclear coordinate, and a nuclear function also contain the nuclear coordinate. So Tn will operate on both these two functions. So you can see that if I have two functions, let's say this u is the function for Ri and v also function for Ri, then that is the present case. That is one is nuclear electronic function, another is nuclear wave function. Now if I consider a similar case for x and y, u and v are function of x and y, then the double differentiation will yield me such type of differential uh, equation or differential form. Similar case will happen when I will apply Tn to on these two wave function, that is psi electronic and psi nuclear. Okay, now what I'll do, I'll operate this when I operate this Tn, that means I am operating this differential term on the electronic wave function, which depend on both the electron coordinates and your nuclear coordinate. Now what happen when we consider that the change of this, that is nothing, that is the change of electronic wave function with respect to change of your, if I look at this term can be derived from this way. So I am forget about this second derivative. I am concentrated about the first derivative. Then first derivative defines that this is nothing. This refers to the change of this electronic wave function with respect to change of nuclear coordinates. Okay, as because this electronic wave function is depend on both nuclear coordinate and your electronic coordinate. Now we have already noticed that the nuclear coordinates are instantaneously adjusted when a electron is moving. So the rate of change of this electronic wave function and with reference to this electronic coordinates is very small. Okay, so rate of this change is very small. That means this quantity is very small. Again, if you differentiate this quantity again, that means with respect to Ri again, then it will becomes again very small. So the quantity, this and this quantity are obviously small, and this differential term, double differential term is very small. It is not zero. If it is zero, then and the electronic wave function must have to independent of your nuclear coordinate. That is not the actual thing. So the double differentiation, this term will be very less and it can be neglected. So this this case, this type of approximation proposed by Born and Oppenheimer, that we can neglect these two terms. Basically this term we can neglect, and this two terms are called as adiabatic terms. So what is the adiabatic, what is the meaning of adiabatic here? We have noticed in thermodynamics that adiabatic system is the where there is no exchange of heat. The general meaning of adiabatic is the slow passage or slow change of the system. That is, here it is the slow change of electronic wave function with reference to the Ri. Okay, so the adiabatic, this is called as adiabatic change. So it is a approximation. Okay, and this approximation we have already justified why this double differential term we are neglecting. So we can neglect the term very small, and so we can neglect the term. That is the second approximation or second step of the Born-Oppenheimer approximation, is to throw away these two terms. Basically we are not concentrated on this, we are concentrated on this. So we are throwing out this term. So if I operate as Tn on both electronic and nuclear function, then we are saying that the change of this electronic wave function with reference to this operator is very small. So we can think that this wave function is remain constant when Tn operator is operated. So we will bring this electronic wave function outside, and we can make the same thing which we have made for earlier case. We can take the Tn and psi nuclear inside a first parenthesis. Okay, thus we can put this in the previous Schrodinger equation for the molecular system. Okay, so now we have approximated the energy, because we have considering a approximation where we have neglected the adiabatic terms, and our psi electronic becomes constant with reference to Tn operator. Okay, so we are writing this molecular or Schrodinger equation as approximation, and it is approximately equal to the E psi. E is the actual energy which is now approximated. So we are putting, instead of putting equal sign, we are putting a close value or approximate value. Okay, now the if we put this the finding in the molecular Schrodinger equation, then we have noticed this type of equation. Now one can clearly observe that this term and this term have the term which which depend on the electronic wave function, and electronic wave function operated at with different type of kinetic. One is the electronic kinetic energy, and uh, another two are the different potential energy. So we can separate these three terms from this equation. So if we separate this, the thing will becomes like this. So we can write this equation, write this expression this way: psi nuclear. Now that now you can see this, the electronic wave function is operated with the electronic kinetic energy operator, electronic electronic repulsion. You can use v cap in everywhere. Okay. So we can again simplify this equation to like this, where we have only electronic wave function operated with the electronic translational energy operator. Then we have a potential energy operator which involve electron repulsion. Then we have a potential energy operator which is involve the electron nuclear attraction, attractive energy. So we can separate this, and we can write this as a new equation which known as the electronic Schrodinger equation. Electronic Schrodinger equation, where we have a Hamiltonian operator which each electron, and this Hamiltonian operator is known as electronic Hamiltonian for this electronic Schrodinger equation. Now remember one thing: these two things are only depend on the electronic coordinates, or electronics coordinates. So we are not bothered about this first two term, we are bothered about this third term. This potential energy is depend on both the coordinates of electron and nucleus or nuclei. So it is only dependent on the not only dependent on the electronics coordinate, it also depend on the nuclear coordinate. So we can have a not approximation, we can have equation for such type of electronic equation for a fixed nuclear coordinates, that my nuclear coordinates are fixed. Then I can vary the electronic coordinates. I can have a same type of Schrodinger equation, same Schrodinger equation, but I can have the a set of energy values. Okay. If I change the nuclear energy, nuclear coordinate for another set, then I have another energy value. So now one can say that this is the simplified Schrodinger equation for electronic wave function, that is the electronic Schrodinger equation. Now this electronic Schrodinger equation contains a part where we have noticed the potential energy term depend on on the coordinates of nucleus. So for a fixed value of nuclear coordinates, you have a energy value. If you change the value of the electronic coordinates, you can have different types of energy. Okay. So what will happen in this case? In this case, the electronic energy is a function of nuclear coordinate, that is capital. For this we will little bit go to a different type of expression, because we are solving the Schrodinger equation for a electronic wave function, and this is known as electronic Schrodinger equation. So if you recall the Schrodinger equation for one dimensional box, particle in a box, or your uh, or your uh, or your or or your or simple harmonic oscillator, you have find this E is a constant quantity, and this E is not dependent on the variable x, and it is only depend on only it is a constant, and it is not dependent on x, it is only have a quantum number. So you can have a number of values starting from ground state energy to the higher state energy for a given restriction of x. Okay. Similarly, in this case, in this case, when you are working with the electronic Schrodinger equation, you can got different energies, that is E0, E1, that is ground state energy, first excited, second excited, for a definite given set of nuclear coordinates. Okay, if you change the nuclear coordinate, then again and your energy will be changed. That is ground, you will find a different quantity of ground state energy, different quantity of excited state energy, and so on. So you can have a different energies for different Ri values, and these Ri values again will contribute to the different energy for the ground state, excited state, and so on. And so now this electronic energy is not a constant, rather it is a function of Ri. Okay, so if you have a first set of Ri, that is the you have a fixed coordinates of nuclear coordinates, then you can have a electronic energy which is correspond to Ri, that is a fixed set of fixed coordinates for nuclei, and this is the set, this is represented as Ri. Similarly, if you consider the second set of coordinates for the nuclei, then let's say it is Ri prime. So then the energy will be changed, and this energy can be obtained for ground state, excited state, and so on. Similarly, when you have switched to the other set of nuclear coordinates, then you can have a different energy term, which corresponds to that Ri value, and this Ri value again, and this sorry, this E prime value, electro E prime value will be obtained for our ground state, excited state, and so forth. So that are the possible things. Now if you change the Ri, the R value, that is the, if you change the coordinates of nuclei, then you can have different energy for different states, that state are ground state, excited state, and so on. And you have you can have a different ground state energy for different Ri value. Okay, it is totally depend on the Ri value. So if you say that this electronic Schrodinger equation, H electronic psi electronic will be equal to E, which is a function of nuclear coordinates, which is a function of nuclear coordinate, and we can replace this equation in our earlier molecular Schrodinger equation, where we have these things, that thing, two things, and rest three things will contribute to that part, that will be equal to this. And we are not we are considering equal sign instead of approximation. Then, and we notice that we can remove this electronic term, we can remove this electronic wave function, and that will be the equation. And this equation becomes only contain the nuclear wave function. So that will be the Schrodinger equation for nuclear motion, or it's simply known as a nuclear Schrodinger equation. And where we notice that this is the kinetic energy part contributing for nuclear motion, and this is the potential energy term which is contributed by the nuclear repulsion. Then we have a third term is actually coming from the electronic energy. Okay, and this electronic energy again responds again and depend on the uh, nuclear coordinates. Okay, so you can say this is one kind of potential energy for nuclear wave function. So this energy is known as electronic potential energy surface, because you can have a number of E value for different set of Ri. So that will give you a surface like characteristics. If I consider this type of value for different type of Ri value, different set of Ri value, that will be my potential energy surface. That is the E, which is depend on Ri or capital R, and that is capital Ri. This will be a potential energy surface, and this surface again contribute to the Hamiltonian of the nuclear Schrodinger equation. So whatever the solution coming for nuclear or Schrodinger equation will be a contribution from this electronic potential energy surface. Okay. So this is nothing. The potential energy surface is a surface where nuclei can move around. So this nuclei of the can dance inside the potential energy surface. Okay. So this potential energy surface will be a two-dimensional for simple case, that is diatomic molecules. If we go to higher atomic molecules, triatomic and n-atomic molecule, then what will becomes, then this type of surface becomes n-dimensional space. Okay, and that will be presented as a contour plot. And this is the nuclear Hamiltonian, where you have noticed this potential energy surface term. And this potential energy surface term comes from the adiabatic approximation. So it sometimes it's called as adiabatic electronic potential energy surface, and simply it the potential energy surface is termed as EPS. Now if we can go to a systematic way where we can change the Ri value, that is capital Ri value, that is the internuclear distance we are changing the internuclear distance means the change of bond length of a molecule. If I change this bond length of a molecule, that is this round shape, dark round shape is called the first ground state energy for a for one R value. If I and this is the first excited state energy for, let's say this is R1. Okay, now E or R1, capital R1. Okay, then this is the first excited state, second, third. Similarly, when I come to R2 value, then my things will be, or you can say set of, sorry, R, and this is R prime, and this value is R double prime. Okay, this value is R triple prime, and this value is R tetra prime. What will happen? What will happen? I can set like this. What happened? And then I have noticed this ground state energy also decreases with the change in R value, that is energy changing with the R. Okay, for excited state also same, we are noticing the same behavior. So that will form this type of potential energy surface. So this is the ground state potential energy surface, excited state, and second, third, so on. So this type of curve we have noticed in the simple harmonic oscillator like this. So this is the bond length, that is where the potential energy surface or the potential energy of the surface is minimum, that is the equilibrium bond length, and then this bond is formed. In this way, we have a way to separate the electronic uh, electronic energy and nuclear energy of a molecular system, and that is the way how a bond is formed in between and two atoms. And we have a clear cut picture what are the way to approximate these things. And one can say that Is there any exception of Born-Oppenheimer approximation? Yes, there is exception of Born-Oppenheimer approximation because we are considering adiabatic terms, that is slow passage of this mm, differential term um, corresponding to the change of electronic wave function with the nuclear coordinates. That is sometimes that is not true for each case. Then then the system becomes non-adiabatic and Born Oppenheimer approximation fails. So we are not interested to study this type of thing. We are restricted only about the adiabatic system where the passage of electronic wave function, that is the change of electronic wave function with the capital Ri, that is the nuclear coordinate, are very very small. So this is the final expression or find out or final result of your Born Oppenheimer approximation. And then in Born Oppenheimer approximation again can be used. Depending upon this Born Oppenheimer approximation, we can go for the linear combination of atomic orbitals to form a molecule. And how these theories are developed, these theories are um, comes from your molecular orbital theory or valence band theory. Okay.